Thanks for coming back for part 8, everyone. But Vice President Harris then pointed out that Donald Trump has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable in civil court for sexual assault, and will be sentenced in November for his 34 felony counts of falsifying business records that he was found guilty of in the state of New York. I mean, come on. This guy has been found guilty of 34 felonies. So he is a convicted felon. He just hasn't been sentenced yet. And seriously, we're going to elect someone who's a felon when felons in multiple states across these United States can't even vote? How does that make any sense? If you can lose your right to vote for committing a felony, how can you serve as president of the United States? It's just mind-boggling to me. It makes absolutely no sense. Trump went on to accuse the Biden and Harris administration of weaponizing the Justice Department against him and bringing these cases against him simply because he's their political opponent and they want to win this election. But in reality, these cases were brought by independent attorneys generals across the United States in various jurisdictions. They're not subject to the commands of the president and the vice president of the United States. They don't dictate to these attorneys generals what cases to bring and not bring. They saw real wrongdoing by the former president, and they brought these cases because they felt that charges were warranted. Vice President Harris then brought up the fact that the Supreme Court within the past few months ruled that if Donald Trump were to get back into office, he would be immune from misconduct. They did rule that the President of the United States cannot be prosecuted for any decisions that he makes that are seen within the scope of his duties as president. So basically, the president can do anything they want. They're a king now, according to this extreme conservative Supreme Court. I can't be surprised when the court is vastly overpopulated with conservatives. She also made reference to the fact that Donald Trump has said in the past that he would be willing to terminate the Constitution of the United States and that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. You can actually look that up. He literally said that he would use the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. This man likes to accuse his opponents of doing the exact things that he wants to do. That is a pattern with him. If you pay attention, you'll pick up on it. I encourage anyone who doesn't believe me or doesn't believe Vice President Harris to go back and look at the video where Donald Trump literally says he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. She also mentioned that Donald Trump has openly expressed disdain for members of the armed services and that he would be unchecked if he's allowed back in office. That's because he's going to surround himself this time around with sycophants who are going to do nothing but butt kiss him the entire time that he's in office if he's allowed to get back into the White House. And as far as disdain for the military servicemen, that's literally something we found out from people that served in his administration. He said openly on video when he was referencing former candidate for the White House who ran against President Obama, John McCain, he said that John McCain is a war hero because he was captured, and he prefers war heroes who weren't captured in war. But let me tell you something. John McCain was 10 times the man that former President Trump will ever be. Former President Bone Spurs, who couldn't even bother to serve his country and made up excuses to get out of serving when it came to the Vietnam War. Rather than actually defending himself against any of what Vice President Harris said, he went on to accuse her and other Democrats of having extreme rhetoric, saying that that's what led to there being an assassination attempt against him. Now, we know that's complete and utter bullshit because the young man who attempted to end his life was absolutely insane. He should never have been allowed to get a weapon like he had. There's no reason why we should even have semi-automatic weapons available to the public in this country in the first place, because those are weapons of war. Nobody needs to have that, and I don't care how supportive of the Second Amendment you are. It's absolutely absurd to think that Americans just out in the world need to have semi-automatic weapons. That's just absolutely crazy. And that's what's led us to the situation that we're in when it comes to mass unalivings around the country, school unalivings, and things of that nature that we see going on. Horrible things that I think everyone can agree needs to come to an end. And I think the first step in that process is getting rid of those semi-automatic weapons. But it was simply not extreme rhetoric that led to this happening. It was the fact that an unstable individual was allowed to get their hands on a weapon that nobody should have in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I'm going to make a part 9. Please stay tuned for that. And if you like the video, hit the like button. Follow me if you want to see more. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.